All right, we are live. Josh, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing well. It's getting a little hot in Chicago. Won't be as hot as it will be in Kansas City next weekend,
Oh man, I can't
which will
wait.
be
I can't
there.
wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of which, we're gonna go. I think we're gonna go live Wednesday night for this because we're gonna be out of town for the weekend. We are not gonna be in any condition to do a show on Saturday. Not that I'm in great condition right now, but we're gonna power through this one a little earlier than usual, but we're gonna have some fun. Uh, this episode, Josh, I mean, I feel like we finally got the other side of the story,
Yeah.
and it left us with just as many questions as we previously had. But it did give us some insight into some people. But I want to talk about two things real quick to start off. So they mentioned the hyperspace disaster. So it's a simple line. And when we talked about this initially, I told everybody, "Hey, you don't need to read the books to do this. This is really one of the only pieces where they pulled from the books."
Mhm.
And this hyperspace disaster is a crazy thing. So
This is the
basically,
Space Vikings, right?
this is denial. This is so what they
Denial. Yeah.
did. They had ways to travel through hyperspace that weren't the like planned out hyperspace routes. So they crashed into a huge freighter that's going through hyperspace on purpose. It explodes in hyperspace. So what then happens is the debris from it just starts emerging everywhere around the galaxy through hyperspace lanes, right? Like so it's just flying around. So you'd be sitting at home and all of a sudden a huge chunk of spaceship just comes flying and like smashes into your planet. That obviously is supposedly destroyed this planet at one point, made it lifeless. The reason I mention it is because it's such a major occurrence in the books, and you can tell how far in the past it is that they're just glossing over it, like it's kind of a nothing. It's a throwaway mention of why this planet went
Right.
dead, and so like again, Josh, we've been talking about this over and over. The Jedi are just out of practice of having any type of enemies or really doing anything. They've become they're just not used to what's in store for them. And then go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I so with the hyperspace, as far as like having a ship enter a hyperspace lane and that collision setting off an explosion, does that also explain the Last Jedi, like hyperspacing through a ship?
I think so too a little bit. I like
Okay.
the Holdo maneuver,
Yeah.
which is like, yeah, how could you do that? But yeah, that's basically the idea. Um, except this was a much more difficult execution. Because this is two things kind of going through hyperspace at the same time. But yeah, it's a crazy thing, and it's crazy that they just gloss over it, which is good. I mean, I think it's a good way of showing that like these Jedi are far from being experts in battle or really know what's going on. And then the other thing is the Virgins. So the Virgins in the Force, uh, we've seen this before. Well, Anakin is himself a Virgins in the Force, but it's
Yes.
usually like a wellspring of Force energy, and in this case, this is similar to like the cave on Dagobah. Like so, that's really what we've seen before, where you've seen a Virgins. That cave on Dagobah is a good example where Luke goes in, sees himself in Vader's mask, all that stuff. So that exists. Now, what's weird about it is that as you kind of scroll, like kind of roll into the shots from above, you see some of those little monuments, kind of like you have on Tython, uh, where Grogu goes in the Mandalorian to like call to another Jedi.
Oh,
You see
yes,
some
yes.
similar structures to that on this planet. Yet the Jedi didn't know about that. They didn't know about the Virgins or where it could be or anything. So someone knew about it. And with similar structures, you kind of got to guess it's the Sith. So this is likely a planet inhabited by the Sith at some point. So in that kind of last 100 years or so. So that those two things kind of caught me as interesting off the top. Or I just wanted to mention them, and then we'll get into the real stuff that we want to talk about. And Josh, I want to ask you: is Soul a terrible Jedi?
Or a terrible person in general. It's funny. He's not a terrible person. We all have our wants, and sometimes, what's the word? We feel so strongly about a certain direction that is our only course of action. And with Soul, he is like, I don't know, man. He obviously is not a Padawan. He's graduated, but he hasn't
Yeah,
graduated to a level of a Jedi to have a Padawan. Is
right.
that desire? Like
It feels like
Jedi are
it,
not
right?
supposed to desire anything. Uh did I sense this like jealousy of Soul because he doesn't have a Padawan? But then he
Right.
makes this odd connection with Osha, and then he feels like she is destined to be my Padawan. And it doesn't really feel that way. And then Torvin makes a really hasty decision, a very selfish decision, because he wants to get the hell off this planet and go back home because he's homesick. And he gets an excuse, and then Soul, that was a wrong idea. She should have said Kelnaka to
Yes.
Torvin. But then, like, as soon as they get there, Soul, I think, may know that it's a bad idea, but then he sees that it's on fire. Oh no, I must save Osha. Like, this is destiny. I am destined to be here. And then find out real quick after murdering Osha's mom and not telling her about that, like ever,
Y-
that his self indulgence became incredibly self serving. His actions became incredibly self serving and has let off these chain reactions in which now it makes it very cloudy even after we get the full picture. Chorizy, maybe the Jedi are not the good guys in this story.
Yeah, I mean, he comes off really bad in the story he's telling. So this is his version of it, and he comes
I'm
off
gonna lock
terribly.
you in a med bed, and I have been waiting 16 years to tell you the truth. That you're damn right I killed your mom, and you're damn right I kidnapped your sister.
Exactly. I mean, that's exactly what the story comes off as. And it's like he comes off really horribly in this and like and it's very much a cover up. It's very much a cover up. I
Very
mean, we do
much.
got to talk about a minute for Kalnaka fighting, which was I've always wanted to see a Wookiee with a lightsaber swinging around and doing some
Oh, it's
damage.
terrifying.
It was awesome. It was I loved it, and I do think, and I've heard this a few places, and I think Leslie Headland even kind of acknowledged it, is that like the Wookiees, like when you use your claws for violence, like you get banished. You get banished from wherever whatever planet they would be on. Um, but yeah, so he uses his claws for violence against another Jedi. This is probably why he's living out in the middle of nowhere, right? Like so he
Yeah.
that's
The
that
symbols and
seems to
everything.
explain it.
Like with
Yeah,
the
exactly.
when you get your mind captured by the witches, because Torben never fully recovered as well. Do you never recover? Do they give you
Well,
like PTSD and you're just like in this state forever?
let's talk about that because I feel like Torben, we saw the scene with her getting into his head, which was
Very cool
I
scene.
really liked the way that they filmed that with the echoes of the voices, her in two different places in the same shot. Like it was very cool. But like yeah, she lets him out of that trance, but was she still in there? Was she the cause of some of his very rash decisions that come shortly after this?
I don't know. I think the fear that anyone can get in Torben's head is the reason why he puts himself in that state, right? How long was it before he spoke with anyone?
10 years.
10
Yeah, I
years.
think.
After he becomes a master, then he goes into solitude
Right.
and creates this like force shield that no one can penetrate. And I just wonder if it's that fear that someone else can get into his head and do unspeakable things or make him do unspeakable things because he saw them take over a Jedi Wookiee who almost whooped his ass or did whoop his
Did whoop his ass.
almost killed him. So I got to go into solitude to protect myself. I mean, that I don't know if she stays in his head, but there's definitely that fear that someone can tap into his mind, and maybe that's why he's so quick to commit suicide because he just doesn't want to live that type of life.
Yeah, and I'm like, him even going after the girls was just like, it just felt like a very stupid decision. So so I think yeah, I'm with you. I think it's, we in Star Wars they talk a lot about fear leading to anger and anger leading to the dark side, all that type of stuff. And yeah, I think he's very afraid. And he's also has very selfish wants like Soul,
Mhm.
which to your point, bad idea sending Soul after him. Because Soul's gonna get in there. Soul's like, I want to get in there. I gotta kidnap this kid.
Maybe
So
Indira's the only one that could fly the ship. Is that it? She's the only pilot.
even if she is, she takes Kelnaka. She could have taken and if you want to forcefully stop someone from doing something, Kelnaka seems like the right choice. Indara makes a very bad choice there. That said, did Indara kill all those people? Like all those witches? Like it seems like they die when she
Yes.
when she takes over for and brings Kalnaka back. Like I feel like she killed like 20 people at once.
Is this like okay? So consider the actors. Is this the Matrix where you pull the
You
plug
unplug them.
and yeah, and maybe that's what she did. She unplugged them. Like, do they die? Look, that type of dark force energy, Chorizy. If you're tapped into another person's mind, a Game of Thrones reference, if you're warging into somebody else's mind, can you die in that state? And I don't know of any Jedi Force power to be able to, like, another reference game with Lord of the Rings. You saw Two Towers, Gandalf releasing
Right.
King Theoden's mind. Yeah, I'm gonna assume that they are dead. Yes, that after they
Yeah,
became unplugged, unwillingly, it wrecked their minds.
I'm with you. I think they killed. I think like whatever they were doing and having to channel that much energy, the disconnection of it just killed them. And it's
But I
crazy.
don't think that's a bad thing. Like, Endura did not do a bad thing there. She is
No.
trying to save her friend, who
Right, yeah.
clearly is at a really tough spot in a bad
I
state.
was I was more looking at it as how powerful Indara might be. Like
Endara, yeah.
it's like
But then it goes back to like the first episode, be like, well, May must be super ninja. But she did
yeah.
deceive Endara
Yeah.
though. So
There's people
hmm.
on the internet that don't think Indara's dead. So we'll see what we get, but I doubt she's coming back. But the other thing that I wanted to touch on here is Mother Coral, because like I kind of feel like she was never gonna let Osha leave. Like
No.
no matter what Anastasia was saying, Coral was gonna be in the way, and I think this introduces another bad guy of the show, and Coral is kind of represented that way at least by the Jedi, right? Like that was one of the interesting things in his telling of the story. When he first sees them, Coral comes kind of out of nowhere and is kind of scary and basically yelling at the kids. In the
Yeah.
earlier version of it, it's not that. It's more just like a strict mother type of moment. And seeing how he views her, it makes me think that she is being set up to still be alive and be a bad guy in this in some manner.
I'm trying to remember. Is she part of the mass body?
You don't see her there. No, she's not with them. She disappears, and so do the archers. But like, you don't see her with the people like the swaying back and forth, taking
No, you
over
don't.
Kalnaka.
I'm just trying to remember like the pile
Oh
of
no, the
bodies
pile.
when
I looked for her in the pile before, and I couldn't find her because there was that there was that theory that like she was the one in the mask, which we know she's not. But
No,
like,
she's not.
But is she still alive? Is she still out there? And was she even gonna let OSHA leave? Was this gonna go bad no matter what?
I
In
think
this
so.
scenario?
That's a good point, Chorizy. I agree with you there. Mother Cora was not going to let OSHA leave without a fight. And yeah, it's I like the idea of blaster arrows, but they're not. It's just blaster bolts that being shot like arrows. Like, I mean, that's a cool little effect and lets the actor who plays Torben do some really nifty lightsaber tricks, some Anakin moves. That was pretty
Yeah,
cool. I like that.
he definitely had the Anakin and Obi-Wan just swinging at each other, not even coming close like that. He
Yeah.
had that move going. I
Behind
love
the
that.
back. Woo.
Yep.
that was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't think I'm with you. She was not going to allow OSHA to leave without a fight. So then to come full circle, then if your soul, let's say you sense that type of aggression and you sense that type of violence is coming at you, and you are so certain that OSHA is destined to be your Padawan, is there
Yeah.
no going back? Like,
I feel like if there is, but he's not gonna. I think he's succumbing to his fears, his selfishness, just like everything there. And I think part of it is that if there is a virgins on this planet and it is dark side energy, like that's why the coven is so strong there. But that's also, corrupting the Jedi to some extent. So I mean,
oh,
I
I
feel
like
like
that idea.
Soul is very corrupted on this planet. Like he can't handle that planet.
Yeah, because when it comes to Soul, I want to give a shout out to Dave Gonzalez of the Rainer because he tweeted this out, and this is where I wanted to bring in the conversation with us, Treasy. He tweeted out the conversation I'm having with myself is why do I forgive Qui-Gon for leaving Anakin's mom in Hutt slavery while Soul stabbing a mist witch is unforgivable. Maybe the murder, but honestly, I should be also mad at Qui-Gon. And if Soul is this Qui-Gon type of character, I don't think OSHA is like an Anakin Skywalker level type of Jedi. But it does raise this question, like, was Qui-Gon wrong for what he did?
Oh, I mean, like I've always thought Qui-Gon was wrong for what he did. Like he should have just killed that thing with the wings. The one that the slave master, right? Just kill that
Yeah.
guy, take the slaves, get out of there. Take the part you need to get out of there. He might as well have done that because all the other elaborate shit that he does, risking a kid's life and all this stuff, and
Right.
like just kill that guy, Watto or whatever his name was.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You're no use to me, ma'am. But your son.
Exactly. He's, I think we can have a similar feeling about this. However, I think Qui-Gon's intentions are much different than Soul's. Qui-Gon's looking at this is like this is a little more Dune-ish, if anything, right? Like this is the chosen one of his religion. He found him. He found the chosen one. He's got to get him back to train him, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is important for the entire galaxy in his mind, at least. Soul's just like, why does Zindara got a Padawan? I ain't got a Padawan. I want one. And like, it's very different. I think it's very different motive. I think maybe that's why we're looking at it differently. And we know what Anakin becomes too. So like, maybe we will find out later that OSHA, when she becomes a Sith and falls to the dark side, that maybe Soul was on the right track. Like he probably should have done all these things because otherwise it goes real bad. But he's going to force it to go bad anyways in the next episode. So
is everything just messy? Is this just messy drama that we're seeing with everyone involved except for Kirmir? Chimera, who supposedly should be the bad guy in the story.
Yeah, I mean, like, do you? I mean,
I
we
just
we
want to
did
be
watch him.
myself, man. Like,
We watched him mow down quite a few people,
yeah, he's
including
wanted for
Jackie,
he's
and
wanted for murder.
he destroyed the entire Yord horde single handedly.
He did.
But I'm having trouble rooting against him and rooting for Soul. I'm very conflicted on this, and I usually roll into these things kind of rooting for the dark side, anyways. This time I'm very conflicted. So what comes next, Josh? What comes next in this series?
Well, clearly not everyone dies because the Jedi Order is still around, but I don't see a path forward. Like, I think Osha using the Force is going to piece things together, or May is going to tell Osha, like, maybe we get some type of battle where it's another Chimera against Soul one-on-one, which would be fun. But at that moment, May tells Osha, Soul killed our mom. And that sets Osha off. Now, I don't know what's going to make May want to save Soul. Like, that would be the plot twist, right? It's like Osha feels a strong sense of commitment to Soul. Well, not anymore. May wanted to kill Soul. Hold on, I need to save Soul. So that's kind of where I'm wondering in this last episode, Chorizy. Is there something between Soul and May on that ship ride that Soul saves May and May feels obligated to save Soul? I don't know.
Yeah, it
I don't know.
certainly wasn't from the story. The story's not turning her mind around on this. Hey, by the way, I was holding up both of you, and then I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna hold up your sister. I'm gonna let you die.
I can only save one.
And then we blamed everything on you. Isn't that funny? What a great story to tell you.
Yeah.
So, like,
and look at you. You lived. Everything worked out.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I feel like no one is gonna save Soul. Like, I feel like Soul is either going to be held accountable by the Jedi for all the shit that he did, or he's gonna die. Like, and I kind of feel like he's gonna die, or he's
how
gonna
do you
off
kill
himself.
a Jedi not using a weapon? Right. I think that's what we're gonna find out.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it could very well be that they kill the Jedi by just ruining his Jedi career. I don't know what they call it. By, he's gonna have to face up to like everything that he did finally, which he was willing to do at the beginning, but Indara guides him away from that. I do think too. What do you think about this? So, like, they made a big deal about them having the exact same symbionts, and so basically they're like one person, May and Osha.
Yeah, split into two. Yeah,
right. What do you think about, like, we come back to Soul is telling this story to her. Osha's got the helmet on, and she's seeing all of it through May's eyes.
you get the Rey and Kylo connection.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little
like
bit of that scenario.
I like that.
And like, so kind of seeing this all happen, because like the one thing that I can't wrap my head around, and maybe it's just they're just fucking with us with the music, but like the Kylo Ren theme was played during this episode, and it was like during the scene with Mother Coral and Mother Anastasia and Soul, right? And so, like, maybe it's because, little do we know, Osha is viewing this, like through the eyes of May, like hearing this from Soul directly through May, because I feel like if Osha's gonna take a turn to the dark side, that story is what would turn her to the dark side.
Yes. Yeah, the other thought I have, back to the everybody dies, because we're still trying to figure out why are the Jedi so concerned about the Senate. What if Chimera and Osha, if Osha's like, we gotta get May, I gotta get my sister, it leads them to Coruscant.
Oh,
and
man.
knock. Sith Master here.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Like the Sith guy being
Oh, because we need that, right?
available to other people.
We need to face his master.
Right.
We need what was her name again? The one with
Vernestra?
the whip. Yes.
Vernestra, yeah.
Yeah. We need that's a fight that we need. Yes.
Right. And they're tracking him. So like Vernestra might find them. We'll see how that all plays out. But like, yeah, I would love to see her fight him, fight Chimera. I think this is leading up though to like Chimera dies.
Oh, he's dying. Yeah.
Maybe May dies. And
Chimera dying is like minus 1,000 on DraftKings right now.
Exactly. and like at the end of this, instead of Soul having to face the music or anything, just another cover up. Just they cover it up even more. They cover up the cover up.
Oh.
And then like because then it starts to make a lot of sense of like, yeah, this is why everybody thought the Sith were gone for so long. Right? Like only few people knew, like, oh yeah, there's still Sith out there, or they're still plotting behind the scenes. Or they think, okay, there was just this one and we got rid of them. Don't tell anybody. We'll just let it ride. That's where I see this going a lot. And it like, especially because I know they want to do a season 2. I know Leslie Headland wants to do a season 2. She wants, and this was an interesting thing, is that she wants it eventually to connect to Plagueis. So we're getting a good indication that, you know, people who are saying like Chimera's Plagueis, that ain't the deal here. So like, yeah, I think if they want a season 2, like someone's got to live. It's probably Osha. And like Darkside Osha is my bet to live. Soul might leave the Order though. Like I could see that happening. Like Soul leaving the Jedi Order.
What if Soul's Plagueis? I mean, that's something that you've been wondering.
I've wanted him to be Plagueis's master, so Tenebris. Like that's who I want him to be, even though Tenebris was like a Bith, which is kind of funny because like the band in the original Star Wars, they're like Bith. Like so me kind of wrapping my head around one of those guys being like a Sith master is hilarious. But yeah, I kind of want him to be in that realm. I want him to be the overall master of this, which honestly, I'm still on board with that because everything he did in this episode was more Sith-like than it was Jedi-like.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know about season 2 of the Acolyte. We'll see. I'm just so used to, like, I mean, Marvel's in disarray, right? They just canceled a bunch of planned shows. Maria, the Photon. That show's been canceled now. They canceled Captain Marvel 3. They canceled Marvels 2. I don't want Star Wars to go down that route. And my last thought about this episode, it is a good episode. The last 3 episodes have been really good with the Acolyte. The first 3 episodes are really bad. And that is a weird strategy to start on such shaky ground and struggle through your first act of the story, in which acts 2 and 3 are great. And it really seems like it was planned to be that way. And you just didn't pull off the shadiness or the mystery in the first act as well. And you get crushed on it. And now you're not getting crushed. I feel like Dave Filoni will really have to micromanage season 2 Chorizy.
Yeah, so I think if they even do one, even if they even do one.
And Dave's got his movie that he's working on. So I don't know if he's got the time.
The season 2 has not been
announced,
greenlit,
but she wants it.
She wants it. But like, who wouldn't want more work? Like,
yeah, I want
more
true.
Disney money. Yeah, I will take it. But I think at the end of the day, they're gonna have to end this series, and they got 1 episode to do it, and kind of close up everything. Like, have a lot of closure to this. Not assume a season 2. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this last episode because they got to tie up a lot of loose ends, and I'm gonna see how they do it. I I'm nervous because they didn't do a lot in this episode to tie anything up. They left a lot wide open. So we're gonna see. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be an hour episode. I would
It's
assume.
34 minutes.
Oh man,
Yes, I can.
they just better not. We said this last week. They better not find that vial of blood from all the different superheroes. So like, because we can't end it like that. We
That's
can't
the
have
thing,
that ending.
that part doesn't piss me off as much as, oh, Rhodey was gone the entire time.
Yes.
That's what set me over the edge.
Yeah, let's hope it doesn't go down that path. Let's hope for a good end to this. But until then, until Wednesday, we'll see what happens on Tuesday, and we will talk to you on Wednesday. Until then, have a great day, everyone. Enjoy the summertime out there, and we'll see you soon.